Okay, so yesterday we had the Challenge Cup final at Wembley, and the match review is up on the channel. Warrington Hull KR. Obviously, Hull KR win the game 8-6. But one thing I made reference of in the match review, and I'm going to talk about today, is attendance. Yesterday's attendance was 63,278. Now, I'm going to look at attendance from 2007 and 2010 and since 2017 because there is a ongoing trend here. So in 2007, Wembley reopens. First Challenge Cup final back at the new Wembley, 84,241. Now, one of the teams that played in that Challenge Cup final is the Catalan Dragons. We're going to mention them again later on in this video. 2010, the highest attendance at the new Wembley of 85,217. Basically a sellout. Fantastic atmosphere, we can all agree. Fans, not only from the two clubs involved, but almost every single Super League and Championship and League One side are in attendance. A lot of neutral fans used to go to the Challenge Cup final. I think that's part of the reason why we're getting low attendance. Now, fast forward 7 years to 2017. 68,525. It is not a sellout, and all three tiers there are empty seats. Very noticeable in 2017 that attendance has dropped off. In fact, it's the first attendance since the new Wembley's open of below 70,000. And there were many attendances in the mid 70s and thousands between 2007 and 2017. First one below 70,000. 2018 is the one people say, because Catalan were playing in the final. Well, they played in 2007 in the final and the attendance was nearly a sellout, but 50,672 fans were in attendance. And it was bad. And I took that comment in the comment section of the video I did with pinch of salt. The attendance sucked because Catalan were playing. Took that with a pinch of salt. Because in 2019, the attendance recovers a little bit, but not even to the level of 2017. 62,717 fans in attendance at the 2019 final. That is a significant drop-off from the peak attendance in 2010, which is 85,217. Huge drop-off in fan attendance. Now, the next 2 years are COVID impacted. So, asterisks. 2020, no fans in attendance, restrictions, can't have it. And that we all accepted that at the time that we were going to have to make changes. We did not know how long the restrictions were going to last. They last into 2021, when only 40,000 were allowed inside Wembley. And all 40,000 tickets were sold. So, you could definitely see if attendance had been allowed for everyone to go, people were screaming to get back outside. I think 2021 could have been the year we saw a rebound, but attendance was capped at 40,000. 2022 is a teller. So things aren't working out economically, and since 2022 the economy has been a mess, and we can all admit that, cost of living. 2022, they don't play at Wembley. The Women's Euros has been delayed by a year, and Wembley is one of the stadiums that's been used for the women's games. It's not available, so they have to play at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium across North London, 51,628. And that was, I think, the big warning sign, because the Tottenham Hotspur rebuilt New White Hart Lane holds in, I think, the high 60s, thousands. A lot of empty seats there was very noticeable back in 2022. 2023, 58,213 attend the Challenge Cup final. 2024, there's a bit of a rebound, and this is the highest attendance since 2017 of 64,845. So we're seeing a response in regards to attendance. 2025, this year, attendance has dropped by about 1,500 to 63,278 officially in attendance yesterday. So, it's clear and obvious that Wembley is not working as a final venue anymore, because not only are they not selling out the sections that they've got tickets available for, they've closed off half the upper tier, which is noticeable. They've been doing that, I believe, since 2018. It's also noticeable we're seeing less neutral fans in attendance. I remember back in the 90s and the 2000s, fans of all clubs would turn up. So each of the teams playing would have either end of the stadium, and a lot of neutral fans would fill in as well. We're not seeing the neutral fans anymore. We're just not seeing them in attendance. London, expensive city. And as someone who lives in the southeast, which is one of the more expensive areas of the country to live in, I can attest to that. The last time I went to London was in 2019. The last time I went to London for a sporting event was 2017. And what was the killer was not necessarily transport. because I was travelling in 2017. I was travelling on a Saturday. 2019, I got an off-peak rail ticket because of the time of my appointment that I had in London. But it was food and drink. That was a massive killer. Getting something to eat, just so basically food and drink. It's expensive. Now, I will tell you this. A lot of fans will make a big weekend of it. Not only will they go down for the game, they'll stay for the whole weekend. They'll probably travel down on the Thursday or the Friday, travel home on the Monday or the Tuesday. They'll go, right, I'm booking these few days off work, and I'm going to have this as like an early summer holiday if they don't have kids. Similar thing with Magic Round. A lot of fans who go to Magic Round make a whole weekend of it. They will stay in Newcastle. They'll watch the games they want to watch in St James's Park, and then they'll have a look at some of the other touristy bits and some of the shopping centres around Newcastle and make a weekend of the big weekend. Now, that's got to be a part to play. Hotels, expensive. Transport is expensive. If you were driving down, that is expensive. Parking is expensive. You've got ULEZ in there now. If you're staying further away from Wembley, if you were staying for the weekend, congestion charge in the centre of London as well. You've got the ULEZ clear air zone. There's a lot of cost with travel around London. If you're not familiar with travelling around London, you may not be familiar with some of the discounts you can get on the London Overground, London Underground, the DLR, things like that. You probably are paying more than you potentially could because you may not be familiar with all the travel deals that you can get. They are there. But if you're using public transport to get to London, train tickets are bloody expensive. I mean, I was looking online, to travel to Cambridge to see my girlfriend. Just a one-way ticket is £68. To get a return is 120 quid. That is expensive. So I imagine coming down from somewhere like Hull or Warrington, which is further away, that's a couple hundred quid one way, let alone a return ticket. Those that are driving down, they've got to find a place to park their vehicle, or if they're going by coach, and then potentially get public transport into Wembley. If they are making a weekend of it, hotel prices, I mean, this time of year, admittedly the weather's been a bit iffy the last couple of weeks, but we've had some really glorious weather. Hotel prices, there is a lack of accommodation in London. If the weather's good, tourists turn up. It's one of the most visited cities in the UK. Tourists turn up in large numbers, and so finding accommodation can be difficult. I do think economically, with the cost of living, I think not only a move away from Wembley, but a move away from London, I think is a no-brainer. What we know is the RFL are committed to Wembley to at least 2027. They've already announced next year's Challenge Cup final date. Club Wembley gets regularly criticised for how its ticketing policy works. A lot of fans don't like the new Wembley Stadium. They say it's soulless. Some of the sight lines aren't very good. Some of the security issues around Wembley as well. There are some issues with Wembley Stadium that have been discussed. But I do think economically, with most rugby league fans in this country from the north of England, which is its heartbed, its heartbeat and its traditional, growth areas, it's the home of the game, moving it to St James's Park or Bramley Moor Dock or not Old Trafford with the state Old Trafford's in, but potentially the Etihad. You could move it to the Midlands. There's some good stadiums in the Midlands as well. Villa Park is a pretty decent stadium. There are other options where there are suitable facilities. There are the facilities in London. They've obviously tried Twickenham before and had really good attendance at Twickenham. You've got the London Stadium, the former Olympic Stadium, slightly smaller capacity, multi-sport venue. They've hosted multiple different sports there. You've got the Emirates, worked really well during the Rugby League World Cup semi-final between England and Samoa. Really good attendance there. Very good connectivity right by many major rail and road links. They've used the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Now, I don't think London's working, but also is the promotion working? Are we opening up ticket sales to every club and saying to club season ticket holders, you get first dibs on going to the Challenge Cup final as a showpiece event of the RFL's calendar? Fans are making choices. Like this year, Warrington have had two big games. They've been to Vegas, they've been to Wembley, and a lot of fans went to Vegas. A lot of fans had to make a decision. A lot of them went to Vegas. Now, some would have gone, right, we've got a very good chance of winning the Challenge Cup this year, and they would have planned accordingly when they won the semi-final. A lot of fans might go, right, our big game this year is going to be the grand final of the Super League. And so some fans, they only have the one big game a year. where they go and not necessarily support their club week in, week out. They might go, right, we'll do the home games, but our big game is going to be Challenge Cup final, this, or this. They pencil it in. But London's as expensive as a city, and we've got Magic Round, which is a fantastic in Newcastle. That could be a potential. St James's Park could be a potential Challenge Cup final venue, but I think Newcastle as a city works well as just a city. The stadium is centrally located. There's a lot of amenities, hotels, places to get food and drink, pubs, and other sites to see around the centre of Newcastle. So if you want to make a weekend of it, that's a good touristy city. Liverpool, the Bramley-Moore Dock Stadium is being used at the end of the year for one of the tests between England and Australia. Tickets have sold out, so clearly some of these locations could work a lot better for fans. But we shall see. I mean, Wembley is being used as one of the 3 test venues for England and Australia. Now, ticket sales have been quite strong. So how are they promoting it? What are the ticket prices for the final? What are they opening it up to all clubs or just the clubs making the final? Because I remember as a kid, a lot of neutral fans would take the Challenge Cup final as that's a big game we're going to go see. And not every fan can afford to go to every single club game. It's a fact. People have got less money in their pockets. Now, rugby league as a sport is cheaper to go to than football or rugby union or in some cases cricket. Depending on where and what teams you support, it can be a cheap day out, especially at some clubs have really good ticketing prices. So even the London Broncos, their tickets aren't overly expensive. But London is an expensive city, and what would hurt me getting there is when the home games are played, most of them are on a Sunday, and transport anywhere in this country on a Sunday by rail, as I don't drive, is prohibitive, engineering works, and limited train times. It's food and drink. It's finding a place, because stadium food and drink is always really expensive. Outside of the stadium, to get a bite to eat, get a drink, if you are staying for the weekend, accommodation is expensive. So I think it's about time we consider moving it not only from Wembley but from London, because these attendances have been poor for the best part of a decade now. They're not recovering. They're not going to get back to the highest attendance unless they severely slash ticket prices and bring in some kind of travel packages, and they work with hotels, the FA and the RFL to try and make that weekend like Magic Round, where they encourage fans from all clubs to buy tickets. I can't see how they're going to get back to over 80,000 in attendance. But that's my view on it. Is it time to move the final from Wembley? I say yes. I say move it up north, and I'm a London Broncos fan, and of course Wembley is not that far for me to get to. But even I say it's too expensive in the City of London now. You've got to look at how their relationship works with the FA, the RFL and Club Wembley. Ticketing, ticket allocation. Should all clubs, rugby league clubs, even amateur clubs, get offered tickets for their fans and their members? Cost of transportation. There's got to be ways to mitigate this. And it's not working. So place your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd be really interested to hear what you guys have to say. But from me for now, it is goodbye. And I will have some more content for you all very, very soon.